Okay, today I have a very interesting guest. You're going to really enjoy this one. I have Dr. Luissa Kiprono with me. She is a former refugee from communist Romania. She's a maternal fetal medicine specialist, Air Force veteran, and founder, CEO of Telemed MFM, and the founder of Dr. Louisa K Foundation. Through her nationwide telemedicine practice, she expands equitable high risk pregnancy care beyond geographic borders. She is a passionate advocate for women in medicine and leadership. She serves through mentorship, speaking, humanitarian missions, and community outreach. She has an Amazon best-selling book. It's called Push, Then Breathe: Trauma, Triumph, and the Making of an American Doctor. It chronicles her journey from abuse to resilience and her commitment to empowering women to heal, lead, and thrive. And that is why I have her with us today. An amazing, interesting woman that I'm excited for you to meet today. So welcome, Dr. Luisa.
Thank you so much, Elsa, for having me.
This is going to be so interesting. I love the real and the raw conversations. So I would love for you to share with us some of your story of what brought you to where you are today.
Okay. Well, it's a long story, so I'll try to abbreviate it. Um, I was born and raised in communist Romania, and I lived there until I was about a month shy of 19. I lived there before the Iron Curtain fell. So, the Iron Curtain fell in December of 1989. So I came to the United States for a 2 months visit in April 1987. So in about a month is going to be 39 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
But that was not my plan.
Mm.
Okay, so and I always have to preface this. A lot of people are like, "Oh, so how did you come?" And then you're excited to come here, and what was your plan? I said, "No, there wasn't my plan." I actually came here on a 2 months visit to meet and get to know my father. My father lived here for about 10 years prior to my arrival. He was a former communist, anti-communist regime dissident. So he escaped. He escaped through the Danube River, migrated from Yugoslavia to Germany here to the United States. So we really didn't meet as I grew up. My mom and my father really were not together when I was born, and I met him really just twice. One when I was a couple of weeks old, and one when I was about 5 years old. So neither one are very, very fresh in my memory, so to speak. So he invited me to come and visit and get to know each other for 2 months. And the plan was to go back home, go to medical school, and pursue my studies to become a physician. But things did not go as planned. And again, first, I want to say that I didn't speak any English at the time. I only was speaking Romanian, French, and German. So I came here, didn't speak any English. That was not my intent to stay, right? But due to a series of very unfortunate circumstances, I was forced to stay, and that by my father. And really, everything that's depicted there, it's depicted in my book, Push Then Breathe: Trauma, Triumph, and the Making of an American Doctor. But to give you a little teaser, about 2 weeks after I came to America, I was told to me that the plans were not to go back home. Imagine my stupor, right, and my surprise, because everybody else that I knew and loved, and my whole family was back there. So my passport was taken away. My name was changed. I was coerced into file for political asylum in America, and I could not go back home. because once you file for political asylum, you are considered an enemy of the state of Romania, so you cannot possibly go back. The the two things that he promised to me in order to keep me here were that he will reunite our family, i.e., remarry my mother, and bring her here, of course. And the second one is to help me become a physician, none of which came to par through his efforts. So, for the following 7 years, like I said, I was kept captive, financially, emotionally, physically, and I escaped shortly after I became an American citizen in 1993. Went back to school a year later, finished my undergrad in 2 years, joined the military, the Air Force, and I became the recipient of the HPSP program, which is the Health Profession Scholarship Program. What it is that the Air Force paid for my education, my higher education. And 15 years later, on June 1 of 2002, I graduated from medical school.
Wow. Wow. What a incredible. You had incredible strength and stamina and pushed through horrible circumstances.
Yeah, hence the name of the book, Push Then Breathe.
Uh,
I kind of kept pushing.
yeah, you
Had to
must
keep
have.
pushing for a while.
Wow, yes.
So, yes.
Oh, so what happened after that? So you graduated, then what?
Graduated medical school, then did residency. It was the Air Force residency. And afterwards, I did my payback to the military. And that was in Mississippi, in Biloxi, Mississippi. Then, really, my dearest desire is to become a women's health physician. So I did my residency in OB/GYN, but afterwards, I really felt that I just didn't feel fulfilled in OB/GYN. I really liked the obstetrical part, pregnancy, delivery, postpartum, but not only that, high risk pregnancies. So after I did my payback to the military, I separated and I went back to school, back to training, did my fellowship in high risk pregnancies or maternal fetal medicine. I got two other masters, one in biomedical sciences and an executive MBA.
Wow.
And I finally stopped. I think it was about time.
Congratulations. Those are amazing accomplishments.
Thank you.
Yes. So now, are you still practicing that?
Yes.
Okay.
So, well, it doesn't end. Then I have a lot of people that keep nudging me to write a second book. And I say, well, let me just recover after the writing of the first one because it was pretty cathartic. And the whole process, of writing, publishing, but then marketing to the day. I self-market my book, and it just takes a lot of energy, and both a lot of energy, time, and financial considerations. So my first assignment out of fellowship was, I became the medical director for a practice in Indiana, in southern Indiana. And then I stayed there for about 5 years, and then I moved on, came to San Antonio, Texas. And then there I took over another practice, a much larger practice in San Antonio that lasted about 5 years. Right after COVID, the practice, like a lot others. So this practice was not my own. This practice was owned by a private venture that after COVID, they started having a lot of financial difficulties. So they started closing a lot of their practices, like a lot. I'm saying about 80% of their
Oh,
practices.
wow.
And ours was slotted to close. That was in 2022. And that was a big blow for me. And I will say that with no reservation. The reason is that I was attached for that practice. It was really, I took it from, to the brink of implosion, and I brought it back up, to full speed. And then this happened, and I was like, I just don't like that, that put so much work into it. It's almost like, you have a dear project that you took it in as your own, and you are invested, emotionally and physically, and you just want it to thrive. And then you get it there, and then you're like, oh, by the way, we're going to close in 3 months. Let's see, maybe somebody else can buy it. And no other hospital wanted to buy it, or what they wanted to buy it for, they didn't agree. So when that happened in 2022 in the fall, I was at a crossroads. I was very unhappy about our health system and how they, take advantage of the physicians and private practices, or practices that are not based on a huge, large organizations and healthcare systems. And I said, you know what? I think I'm out of medicine. I don't think I can do this again. It's just too much heartache, right? When you put so much into it, it hits you. I mean, I just wish. You know what I used to say, Elsa? I said, I just wish I was a jerk. Like, can I be a jerk? Can I just not care?
Yeah. Well, I just don't want this to bother me. Yeah. I care too
Exactly,
much.
because then you don't take it as personal.
Right. But you're
So
not.
that lasted about 8 weeks.
Mm.
That anger and that, trying to find myself. So what happened was, I knew that I did not want to be owned again. I did not want to have a master. Okay, I said, I can't go there. I can't go back there. It's almost like the history keeps repeating itself. What was going on for me a lot, a couple of things, is that with COVID, telemedicine really, really flourished. Okay, so I used to say what COVID did in a year and a half or a year, right? Because it didn't just wait until the end. It would have taken us decades, right? So that was actually probably the only positive things that you could see out of that awful, epidemic. And during my stewardship in that practice that I was telling you about, during COVID, we actually used telemedicine. It was a hybrid in the beginning. It was a hybrid type practice. So the physicians, for instance, would do clinic in a brick and mortar clinic. However, in order not to get exposed and get ill, when they go in these hospitals, we used a lot of telemedicine capabilities. Also, other physicians that would come and work for us, like, to cover when other physicians were gone. Because of COVID, they couldn't come in, whether for health reasons or for their hospitals did not allow them to come and travel to another hospital because they could get sick and really not being able to work. So I studied telemedicine. I was actually the first practice. I was the first medical director to implement telemedicine within the system, within that particular system, and in the field of maternal fetal medicine, which is pretty huge. And
Yes.
we did it, but not only that we did it in COVID, we continued. We continued until the practice closed.
Mm. Wow.
So 8 weeks after that fallout, I said, you know what? What if I would start this? And what if I would just do it through telemedicine instead of brick and mortar? Um, and I did. And I've been doing full time maternal fetal medicine virtually, full scope, since March 2023.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations on being a forerunner in that. And I
thank you.
mean, really, I love that because you took a need that you saw and you did the work and created something that would take care of that need. Because
Thank
you
you.
can see people from anywhere in the world, right?
Yes, yeah. It's
Amazing.
potentially I can do that anywhere, from any to anywhere. And as a matter of fact, I am a clinical professor to one of the residencies in Kenya. I do medical missions. It's one of my passions. So what I do is I actually teach residents. I go every couple of years. I go there in person, and I teach at bedside. I do ultrasounds. I teach residents ultrasounds. Me and another fellow physician, we take turns. But we also, during the times that we are not there, we teach residents virtually. So just like I talk to you, every 6 weeks or so, I speak with the residents. We speak, give a lecture, talk about a patient case. It's really cool. It's really really amazing what you can do.
That is so fascinating. I love this. This is so good. Oh, so that's what you do
Thank
full
you.
time now is you are virtual telemedicine.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So interesting. Okay, give us some takeaways from your story because you have such a fascinating, diverse story, Dr. Louisa. I mean, what would you say to ladies and people that are listening to this and maybe they find themselves in the situation, of course, probably not in that specific situation of where you were with what your dad did, but in a situation where all of a sudden life seems to be stripped away from them or, this trauma has happened and then through your whole journey of where you are now. This is fascinating.
What I want our audience to remember and take from my journey and from my lessons is that we are more than our titles. We are more than our stories. I personally am the living proof that resilience and commitment and consistency and believing in yourself wins. And you all are ready to take on any and all challenges. You all are unique and worthy. And don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because you believing in yourself and believing in your power and believing that nothing out there that conquer we are unconquerable. We cannot be conquered. We are who we are. And if we believe in ourselves, nothing can put us down.
Mm, amazing. Ooh, that's powerful words spoken from a powerful woman right there. I love this.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
good. So if someone is listening and they say, I know that, I think you're right, but I have a hard time believing it. What is a practical step someone could take today to say, start to move themselves from if they're in a situation that they don't want to be or they know that there's so much more for their life but it's just doesn't seem to be happening, they seem to be just spinning their wheels kind of thing. What is a practical step they could take today that would actually help them get towards that goal?
One of the things that I always try to remind people, and trust me, I remind myself very often, is when we have in our hands something unsurmountably big. Like you said, it's like all this is hitting me. I don't know what to start. I don't know where to go. What do I start with? And I tell that to my sons as well. I say, well, how do you eat an elephant? So you got to pace yourself. You got to take a breather and you got to plan. It is extremely important to plan. Becoming a planner is actually one of the biggest quality in a person's life, because when we get hit in life, we don't know what life brings us, right? So we tend to react. Okay, so what I say this is, instead of reacting to something, try to see what's coming next and be like, okay, well, if this happens, what would I do? And again, break it down in small pieces, in small chewable pieces. You won't be able to fix it all or get it all done in one day or in 1 week or in 1 month. I mean, just think of my situation, right? I was 7 years late on my dream. What would I should have done, right? Should I have panicked? Should I have been given up? I both could have done them both. And trust me, I thought of both. I was panicking at one point, and I said, well, panicking won't get me anywhere. And giving up, well, that means the other party wins. You cannot ever give up. So take small, calculated steps. Plan your next steps. Have a plan B and C and D and E, because life will throw monkey wrenches. I mean, no matter how much you plan, there will be something like, this plan worked so well, would have worked so well, but it didn't. Look what happened. I'm going to do with plan B. Oh, God, this plan is going through. Well, let's just say this. God has a plan, but maybe it needs to be taken back and just changed a bit. And it is really all in the mind, Elsa.
Yes.
It is in the mind. I'm a triathlete. I'm an Iron woman. I do long distance races almost
Amazing.
every year.
Wow.
And I can tell you, no matter how much you train, if you don't train your mind, your body will not sustain that kind of race. It's all in the mind. It's like, me waking up the race, like, I cannot do this. There's no way I can do this. I'm already know that I'm going to be thrown out of the race because I'm not going to finish. Well, how do you think I'm going to be doing in that race?
Right. Yeah.
You already lost that race. You
Yeah.
already did not finish. Instead, think about this way. You say, I'm going based on my training, based on how much I train, I will do the best I can under these circumstances, and we'll see what happens. But never, ever, ever, you should ever think of giving up or saying that you lost that war that you haven't even started. It's just not fair to you. So those two things govern me. Planning, taking small calculated steps. Because the world wasn't made in a day, so your plan is not going to be made successfully and finished in a day either. Be realistic. That's another thing that is very, very important. A lot of people are not realistic in their expectations. When if you say, well, I'm going to go do this race, right? Well, yeah, you can do the race. If you train, you'll be able, chances are you'll finish. But if you don't train consistently, and that comes the other part, you have to be consistent. So remember, you have to be realistic, you have to be consistent, you have to have a plan, you have to take it in small, calculated bites, and have alternate plans for just in case the plan A fails.
Amazing advice.
The next thing that it's extremely important is, in my book, is that you need to fill your daily cup. What is that? Everyone has something to brings them joy. That brings them joy, right? Mine is running. Other people may choose something else. Gardening, walking, yoga, painting, you name it, reading, journaling. that is so important. People don't realize how important that is, and they tend to go and say, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. Well, that means you don't have time for yourself,
Right.
because people tend to suck you dry of everything, right?
Yeah,
Right?
you're right.
Everybody's asking you, hey, do this for me, do that for me. Can you do this for me? Can you attend this? Can you? You have to, you must learn to say, no, thank you.
Yes.
You
Yes.
don't have to be rude,
Right.
but you have to be, people will understand, I really would like to, but I really have to have some time for myself, or I just cannot do it. My family come first, or what have you. If you give all the time and you don't take that small daily cup, fill it of joy for yourself, for your own self gratitude, self being, you will run dry.
Yeah.
And one day you'll look in the mirror and be like, who is this person?
Mm.
That I have nothing else to give.
So true,
So,
Dr. Luisa.
but
Yes.
it's so true, Elsa. It's so true. We give so much to everybody and we forget the most important person that's out there is us. And, if we don't take care of ourselves, one day those people who just keep on asking us for anything and everything, they're not going to have us around.
Yeah. You're right. And I feel like for women so often, especially I find the women when I'm coaching them, a lot of times that will come out. It's like, I'm just giving, 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 and to try and convince them to take the time for
Right.
themselves, invest in themselves, whatever that
Mm-hmm.
looks like, can be a hard thing a lot of times for us. But exactly
So
like you
true.
said, if we don't do that, we're not going to be around to help the people that we want to help and do the things for that we want to.
And if they say, well, don't have time, or maybe tomorrow, just ask them, what happens if you don't charge your phone today?
Right?
That phone is not going to go on borrowed energy. You
Right.
must let it charge. Same thing
Yeah.
here. You must let yourself charge. Whether
Hmm.
it's half an hour a day, that's a 1 hour, it makes you such a better person. I know myself. If I don't give myself, and there are, on occasions that I don't have that time, but I get up at 5 in the morning to give myself that gift.
Yeah.
But trust me, when that day does not happen, that time that I don't give myself my cup of joy, I become very resentful. And I'm
Yeah.
like, and I tell my husband, I'm like, I didn't do anything for myself today.
Yeah.
And I can hear it. And it's becoming second nature. I mean, now in the beginning, it may sound strange to the audience, to to your guests, to your customers, to your clients. Be like, what do you mean to give myself an hour? What happens? Nothing will happen.
Exactly.
The world is not going to die. Your kids are not going to go starving. Trust me. As a matter of fact, they will be so much happier because you're going to be so much happier.
Yes, exactly. Yes, because you show up as a better version of yourself when you pour it into yourself. Exactly. Yes.
Yep.
So many women need to hear that.
And last but not least is that find yourself that one person or one being that you can that trust you and you trust them, and you can really have a shoulder to cry on,
Mm.
have a person that you can reach out to. It is so important to have this other being that's there for you and understands you. You don't have to talk to them every day, every week, but do you know that, hey, the world is really falling on me. Let me just talk to this person. That beacon, I call them lighthouses.
Mm.
It is so important to have that one person. For me, those 7 years was my cat.
Ah.
I had a cat, so that she was my cat that it really kept me sane.
Mm.
So it is important to have that, that one lighthouse that you can turn to when you need to.
I love that. That's so good. And I mean, there's so much, we might think, oh, a pet, but you can get a lot of comfort. If it doesn't have to be another person, it can be a pet. That's so interesting. I like that.
And also bring it to reality. I have a good friend of mine, and she's going through some hardship, and how in your life sometimes happens that you can keep going, and everywhere you turn you just hit a roadblock,
Mm.
to the point that I get a call from her one evening, and she says, is there something wrong with me?
Mm.
Like, she was at the end of her wits, right? And I said, no, nothing is wrong with you. Let's just put yourself together. No.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But we women are like, oh yeah, something must be wrong with me. No, that's self guilt, self shame,
Yeah.
is because we don't know where to turn. And says, she started crying. And to me, it's like, okay, well, let's just take it piece by piece, put it all in perspective. Just because this is how this will go away. Everything passes, Elsa.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
Yeah.
Nothing is constant. I have not yet found something that just stay the same for a person's decade.
And like you said, that goes back to the one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant? Okay, let's just take this one step at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So much wisdom in that. I love this. Okay, Dr. Louisa, before we carry on here, where can people find you, follow you, reach out to you?
So I have two websites. One is telemed, telemedmfm.com. So telemedmfm.com. The other one is drluisa with double S K.com. That is my platform. That is my book. The first one is my telemedicine practice. The Dr. Luissa K also has a link for my book. I do market and sell my own books. And I'm not sure if you see it behind me, but this is the book.
Nice.
And the cool thing about the website link to get the book is actually when you go on the website, you find the little buttons there with the links, and one of them says book. Well, you click on that. If you want to purchase it straight through me, then it comes as a special edition, which means it gets a custom bookmark that was 100% made by me. And then it gets signed. So it gets autographed by the author,
Nice.
and I will, with the name of the purchaser.
Oh, I love that. That's so
Yes.
special. That's nice. Okay, great. Okay, I like to just finish off with some fun rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Okay. I
Okay.
am.
Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Mallorca.
Wow, that's interesting. What was the best part of it?
It was actually my honeymoon. But the way it is this: it's an island in Spain. It's part of Spain, but it's an island. It's called the Balearic Islands. And what I love about it, it's got mountains. So it's got mountains, but then it's surrounded by the Mediterranean Sea, so you can swim, and it's still very much unmodernized. It is what it is. You can see donkeys, you can see, farmers. You can stop in and talk to, normal people who really farm their land, or just, you see them milking their cows. And just, to me, this is really cool. Like, it brings me a lot of joy to, to go there and, talk to people, run the hills, swim in the sea. Very cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. Okay,
The weather
favorite
is
health.
great too.
Oh, yes, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure it's amazing. A favorite healthy food.
Uh, well, this is between the two of them. So I would say lox, which is the smoked salmon, and or dal. So dal is a vegetarian food. It's Indian, but it's made out of It's like small little peas. Okay,
Okay.
and they're black, so they are very very high in nutrients. So you eat it with rice.
Mm.
It's very very good. So I make the vegan dal quite often. My sons love
Okay.
it. So they're
Oh.
fighting over it. I always make, and I'm like make. I have to make extra because by the next morning they're eating it for breakfast.
Oh, that's good. Okay. And one last question. What is something that might surprise us to know about you?
Uh, well, and it's in the book.
Okay.
I had my tonsils taken out when I was in first grade, and they were taken out without anesthesia.
Oh, wow. Oh, my.
Yeah, in communism, we we are a little crude about certain things, like that one.
Wow.
I have to say, it stayed impressed in my memory until until today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is interesting. Okay. Thank you for this conversation. Thank you for seeing a need, filling it, and your resilience and the wisdom that you have to share and what you've shared with us today of all of your wisdom of, how we can keep going and pushing through and achieving amazing big things, uh, even when we're not even close to that, because look how far you came. That's incredible.
Yeah, I wish your audience truly, truly takes this to heart. Embrace the possibilities that you have because they are so amazing, and overcome and influence the world because it's your world.
Yes, that is a great way to finish. All right.
Thank you.
And if this resonates with anyone, please like, share it with someone that you know that would enjoy this as well. Comment, let us know what is your biggest takeaway from our podcast today. We'd love to hear from you.